Hi, team. Can you believe we're already 1 week closer to retirement? I want to talk in this video about why I've chosen to make 54/55 my retirement age goal. What kicked it off was, I think I touched on this in the last video, but my mom got aggressive cancer and died when she was 62. And your parents kind of determine a lot of your genetics and propensity for cancer and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of got me thinking about myself, and what if I passed away at 62? What would my life look like? Would I still be working at that age, or would I be just retired and not have a lot of time to enjoy it? So that's kind of what got this journey started. That was several years ago. I've been kind of at this for about 4 years now. And I say at this, I just mean tracking it. I'm not really doing anything above and beyond from like investing in my 401k or, saving more. I'm definitely not on the FIRE journey. But I'm just keeping track of my finances better every year. And I have that mapped out, and 55 is when on paper it looks like I'll be able to retire comfortably. Really, 53 is probably when I could start to do it. And I'll talk in a minute about why I chose 55 instead of 53. Since the last video, something kind of interesting's happened. I don't know my birth father, but I went and looked him up to try to see if I can find his cause of death and or if he was still alive or when he passed away. And it looks like he passed away when he was 64. So I ordered the death certificate to try to see if I can get the cause of death, and I'll update you guys when I know that. But that's also not reassuring. So from both my biological parents' perspectives, the odds are not in my favor, I guess, of having a long retirement span. Okay, so why not earlier? So my daughter is my youngest of my four kids, and she will graduate in 2033. At that point, I will be 53. But my wife kind of convinced me to think about working a little bit longer, maybe a year or two after, so that our home would be available to her in case she wanted to live with us while she was in college, or, just live, we didn't want to kick our kids out when they turned 18. We'd rather them, have the option to be able to stay with us a little bit longer if they needed. There's something called a rule of 55, which I learned about recently, kind of along this journey. And it applies to me, I believe. It says that you can tap into your employer's 401k if you leave the job for any reason, including quitting, in the year in which you turn 55. And so for me, that'll be 2035. My birthday's in September. I'm kind of aiming towards the beginning of the year of that year to retire. So I'll be 54, technically. But just working that little extra bit, it's not that much longer, would also allow me a little bit more flexibility and just extra money for paying for any of my kids' college that are in college. So just a little extra time for that. And what am I kind of looking at with retirement? Well, I'd like to have time to retire while I'm still healthy. And like I said, that may only be a couple years, or a few years, or it could be a long time. I don't know. But, if I do retire at 55, that will more or less guarantee that I'll have at least some time, hopefully, while I'm still young and healthy to enjoy retirement. I'm also looking forward to traveling. I've traveled overseas a little bit, especially in my younger years. And I'm looking forward to doing some more of that. Potentially Southeast Asia, I hear, is pretty cheap. My research has been kind of proven that to be the case. And you can travel there pretty extensively, like for longer periods of time than you can in a lot of Europe and stuff like that. And since it is cheap, that may help my savings balances grow as my living expenses from from traveling over there would be less than what they are in the United States. And I like to have more freedom. I'd like to wake up and be able to decide what I want to do that day instead of having my work calendar decide what I do that day, and my coworkers and my management. So I'd like to have more of a say in what my day looks like. And then also, I think that retirement will give me a chance to explore some untapped creativity that I don't really have time to do now. So, if you work a full-time job and you have 4 kids, if you want to write a book or take up a new hobby, sometimes, those things take time out of time that you already don't have. So I think I'll have more time to just explore new things and, maybe read more. Reading seems hard to do now because, it takes longer than it does to watch the movie of something. So I just feel like having the ability to take a deep breath and slow down, and just kind of gather my thoughts and figure out what I want to do on my own is appealing to me. In retirement, I also plan on having time with the future grandkids. I don't have any grandkids now. My oldest is 16, youngest is 10. But I anticipate that by retirement, grandkids will be in the picture, if not at that point, pretty soon. And I think it'd be nice to be able to be around them and spend time with them when I can. And, just getting rid of the daily stress of work deadlines, work goals, work quotas. I think that'll be nice to take that baggage and just lay it down for good. So what are your reasons? Let us know in the comments. I think we could all kind of form a community here and talk about this together. And, if you think about it, 2055 is more or less 10 years from now. This is being recorded in 2025. More or less 10 years from now. And, we can all start down this journey together, and, maybe some of us can retire around the same time frame. See you guys next time.